the law. He won't let you down. He's got the knowledge and the know-how. He's attorney Steve Lobert. Family law, business law, he's the one to avert. Yeah. Steve Lobert, attorney at law. He'll guide you through, won't let you fall. With his experience, that expertise, find solace, he'll bring you peace.
I think we need something a little more up-tempo. Yeah, you know, hey, it's time for your legal life here on B1039, and I think he's going to come back and sing some more, so this is the second verse. Okay, anyway, it's 8:33 at B1039, and we welcome, of course, Steve Lobert, attorney at law, to B1039. How you doing?
Not bad, you?
Good. I know it's a week everybody's looking forward to, and we got the deer season, the firearm deer season coming up on Friday, and you sent me these, and I'm like, good night. The number of regulations and everything regarding deer hunting or illegal deer hunting is rather onerous, and you got to know all these things. So I think it's a good idea, kind of a refresher for the hunters that will be going out in the woods on Friday morning, maybe to know some of this stuff.
Yeah, it's like Christmas for a lot of us.
Right, yeah.
Opening day. But
the day off from school. Everybody, I'm looking at the school calendar up there. Everybody has a day off. It's called Safety Day.
Mm-hmm.
But it's first day of firearm deer season day. Everybody knows. So.
Which falls on a Friday. So
Yeah, you get a 3-day weekend out of this. So how do you like that? So anyway, why don't we start going over some of the rules and regulations of the deer hunt, so people, they might just learn something from this and maybe not break a law that they didn't even know they were breaking.
Yeah, so we're going to be talking about, these are the various common misdemeanor deer hunting offenses that are out there. Not that everybody does this, but it's stuff that people need to be aware of. Taking a deer from a motor vehicle, maximum of 90 days in jail, minimum fine of at least $200, and a maximum fine of $1,000. Court costs, state fees, restitution for the deer, loss of hunting privileges for the remainder of the year of conviction, plus 3 additional calendar years.
That was the one I had a question about. That's basically if you poach a deer off someone else's car.
No, you're hunting from a vehicle.
Oh, from a vehicle. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
You're driving
down the road and
there's a deer. Yeah, right. So and you can't hunt anything for the remainder of the year plus 3 more years.
Gotcha.
A loaded or uncased firearm in a motor vehicle, maximum of 90 days in jail, minimum fine of at least $100 to a maximum of $500. State costs, court costs, loss of hunting privileges at the discretion of the court. Safety zone violation, you're hunting or shooting within a safety zone. A safety zone is hunting with a firearm within 150 yards of an occupied building, dwelling house, residence, or cabin, or any barn or other building used in connection with a farm operation without obtaining the written permission from the owner, renter, or occupant of the property. So you can't hunt within 150 yards of a house or
unless you have that permission.
Unless you have that permission.
So there you go. So if you own the house, I mean, you can sit on your back porch and
yeah,
that's what it seems. Yeah,
exactly. I know people that hunt off the roof.
There you go. So, yeah.
Yep. Maximum of 90 days in jail, a minimum fine of at least $50, maximum of $500. Court costs, state fees, loss of hunting privileges at the discretion of the court. Obstruct or interfere with another person hunting is a maximum of 93 days in jail for a first conviction, a maximum of a year in jail for a second or subsequent conviction, minimum fine of at least $500 to a maximum fine of $1,000, a minimum fine of $1,000 and a maximum of $2,500 for second or subsequent convictions. You got the court costs, state fees, loss of license permit to take an animal. There may be reimbursement for any deer involved in subsequent convictions. So can't interfere
So
with
that's,
somebody.
I mean, that's for the PETA people and that kind of thing.
Yeah,
they're trying to interfere with the hunt.
There was people in the old, I remember somebody walking around with pots and pans banging through the woods
Right.
trying to scare the deer out. But
Yep.
they put a stop to that.
Yep.
Use of artificial light with a weapon in your possession, maximum of 90 days in jail, minimum fine of at least $100, maximum fine of $500. Court costs, state fees, loss of hunting privileges for the remainder of the year, plus one additional calendar year or longer at the discretion of the court.
I don't get that. What do we mean by that with the artificial light? You mean you can't use a flashlight or
Like a spotlight or
okay.
something or whatever.
to
Particularly,
blind them to make them stop or whatever? Because you can blind a deer and then they'll just
yeah,
stand
particularly if you're shooting using a flashlight or something.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm
Okay,
saying?
interesting.
Yeah.
there.
Use of artificial light when prohibited, maximum of 90 days in jail, minimum fine of at least $50 to a maximum of $500. Costs and fees, loss of hunting privileges at the discretion of the court. So this is driving around shining past the hours when it's allowed, or during the months it's allowed.
Well, this year's going to be a full moon, it seems, or at least close to one. So that'll make it more interesting, I guess.
Yeah, right. Shining and you fail to immediately stop for a peace officer, mandatory minimum of 5 days in jail to a maximum of 90, a minimum fine of at least 100, maximum of 500, court costs and state fees, loss of hunting privileges at the discretion of the court. So, unfortunately, a lot of times some of the bigger bucks don't come out till after dark.
Right.
And some people decide to try and get them with
Mm-hmm.
a
Gotcha.
spotlight or something. Failure to wear hunter's orange, maximum of 90 days in jail, minimum fine of at least $50, maximum of fine of $500, court costs and fees, loss of hunting privileges at the discretion of the court.
So that's for your safety. I mean, I know you don't need to wear a motorcycle helmet up here, but some people don't want to wear those vests. Cumbersome, or I don't know, they just don't like it. But, Yep.
You got to.
But you don't want to be the target or the inadvertent target. So, yeah.
Interesting twist on that, because I'm kind of a waterfowl hunter. You can duck hunt during rifle season, and you don't have to wear orange.
Ah, okay.
Or camouflage.
Wink, wink.
Deer hunting while your license is revoked, maximum of 180 days in jail, minimum fine of at least 500, maximum of 2,500, court costs and fees, loss of privileges at the discretion of the court. Make use of an illegal device, like an electronic call, something like that. Maximum 90 days in jail, minimum fine of 50, maximum fine of 500, loss of hunting privileges at the discretion of the court. Use of semi-automatic firearm capable of holding more than 6 shells. So this is one like people that use like an AR type platform to deer hunt. You got to have a clip that only holds 5, because if you have a clip that holds more than that, maximum of 90 days in jail, minimum fine of at least 100, maximum fine of 500, court costs and fees, loss of hunting privileges at the discretion.
Do AR owners usually have less than 6? They usually have bigger clips than that, I would think.
Yeah, but you have to get
The 6
special ones if you want to use them for hunting.
Yeah,
in
so-
Michigan.
And I'm sure there are some that would like to have fully automatic, but that's a whole nother discussion.
You kind
That's kind of like, that's not fair.
of hear some of those every now and then.
Well, yeah, okay, I hear you.
Hunt during a closed season, maximum 90 days in jail, minimum fine of 50, maximum fine of 500, court costs and fees, loss of a hunting privileges at the discretion of the court. Take, possess over deer that you're allowed to take over your limit, maximum of 90 days in jail, minimum fine of 200, maximum fine of 1,000, court costs and fees, restitution for the deer, and which we'll talk about in a minute. Loss of hunting privileges for the remainder of the year of the conviction, plus 3 additional calendar years. So no hunting for 4 years for you. Use of a dog to hunt deer, maximum 90 days in jail, minimum fine of 50, maximum fine of 500. Court costs and fees, loss of hunting privileges is at the discretion of the court.
That one kind of surprised me. I thought, you take the dog out, but nope, can't do that.
No,
Yeah.
no. Unfair advantage.
I gotcha. Okay.
Hunt before or after legal shooting hours. It's basically a half hour before sunrise or sunset. Maximum of 90 days in jail. Minimum fine of at least $50. Maximum fine of $500. Court costs and fees. Loss of hunting privileges is at the discretion of the court. Hunting or use of a raised platform on publicly owned land. So, state land, federal land, you can't use these type of things. Maximum 90 days in jail, minimum of at least $50, maximum of $500. Court costs and fees, loss of hunting privileges at the discretion of the court.
Yeah. Took a ride up the interstate or the freeway and saw a lot of deer blinds going up on trailers this weekend. Oh yeah, they were all heading up there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Can't put them on state land.
Ooh, yep.
Hunting deer with a 22 rimfire rifle or less. So you can't be out in the woods with a 22 or a 17 or something.
Mm-hmm.
Maximum 90 days in jail, minimum fine of at least 50, maximum fine of 500, court costs and fees, hunting privileges at the discretion of the court. Now, if you take a deer, meaning you shoot one with a 22 rimfire or less, 17 or something, maximum of 90 days in jail, minimum fine of at least $200, maximum fine of 500, state costs and fees, restitution for the deer, loss of hunting privileges for the remainder of the year of conviction, plus 3 additional calendar years.
Wow.
So
Okay.
don't do that. Taking a swimming deer in water. So if they're in the water, getting a drink or whatever, they're not just on the edge, they're in the water.
In the water. Yep.
Maximum 90 days in jail, minimum fine of at least $200, maximum fine of $500, state costs and fees, restitution for the deer, loss of hunting privileges for the remainder of the year of the conviction, plus 3 additional calendar years. Baiting.
All right. This is the sticky wicket because I know a lot of folks like to do that. So, yep.
Yeah,
And this changes. It's been changing over the years, and so might not be the same as what it was last year or what it will be next year. So
It remains, it's illegal in the lower peninsula, except in limited circumstances, like if you're disabled or something and whatnot. In the upper peninsula, you're allowed up to 2 gallons, and not to exceed a 10 by 10 area. So
Okay.
it's a small little thing. If you make use of deer bait in a chronic wasting disease or TB area, maximum of 90 days in jail, minimum fine of at least $50, maximum fine of 500, court costs and fees, loss of hunting privileges at the discretion of the court. Take a deer over unlawful bait. So if you're baiting in the lower peninsula or something, maximum of 90 days in jail, minimum fine of at least $200, maximum fine of 500, court costs and fees, restitution for the deer, loss of hunting privileges for the remainder of the year of conviction, plus 3 additional calendar years. Unlawful baiting or feeding deer, maximum of 90 days in jail, minimum fine of $50, maximum fine of 500, court costs and fees, loss of hunting privileges at the discretion of the court.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we can push on through these without giving each fine, I think, because there's going to be fines. Whether what it is, you need to do your research and find these out. But they're different, but they're rather similar. I mean,
Do you want me to keep going on these?
why don't we just brush over these?
Okay.
And because I know it's a really long list.
Yeah, so there's kill
but
tag.
every one of these has a fine attached to it and revocation of your hunting privileges. So why don't we go suffice to say if that's what you're going to get. So don't do these things.
Yeah, okay, kill tag violations, you got to attach one if you shoot an animal.
Okay.
You can't apply illegally for an antlerless license, trying to get a crop damage permit or something.
I gotcha. Okay.
Legal possession of live game from the wild. You can't give your wild game to somebody else or, something like that.
Okay.
Taxidermists have to tag specimens. You can't possess a deer carcass from a CWD state. So if you're bringing one from, Wyoming or something, you could be fined. Hunt in a park or recreation area, refuge closed to hunting. Illegal snare or restraint. You can't just have snares out in the woods and stuff.
Okay. Yeah, like a bear trap or something like that for the deer.
Here are some additional penalty provisions that are extremely important to know. So a third offense of the act or order within 5 years, it's a maximum of 180 days. in jail, minimum fine of 500, maximum of 2,000. There's special rules for antlered deer. So in addition to the penalties above, if you take an antlered deer, for the first offense, they shall not possess any kind of hunt for 2 calendar years, second or subsequent offenses, 7 calendar years.
Okay.
They also have the restitution amount. So it's for a deer, it's $1,000. If it's an antlered deer, it's an extra 1,000. So if you shoot a spike, it's $2,000 or whatever.
Right.
They also have like a trophy fee. If the buck has at least 8 points, but not more than 10, they charge an extra $500 for every point. So an 8-point buck would cost you an extra $4,000
Okay.
on top of the $2,000. If it has 11 or more points, it's $750 for each point. So if you shoot, a 20-point buck, that's $15,000
Wow.
on top of, the $2,000 fine.
But that's if
So-
your license is revoked and you're just going out there anyway.
No, that's, or if
Yeah.
you're shooting one with a light or shooting,
Right.
over
any
a
of
bait
these.
or, any of these,
Yeah.
there's a trophy fee attached to it.
Gotcha. So I noticed that the DNR says that when you get a deer, they want you to leave the head in the box if the DNR station isn't open. So what happens if you get something that you want to have mounted? You have to actually see them and get their permission to do that.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah.
You want to make sure you get yours back.
Yeah, because they just want the heads to check for CWD and all that. So they're put out there for your protection or for the protection of the herd, I guess. I mean, I think people hear this and just think it's way too much, and it should be these regulations should be taken away. All of these are put in there because for a reason. So if you don't like it, change your state representatives. That's all you can do. Don't try to fight these because you'll lose on that. You get a DNR guy up there, and that'll be the end of that. We'll get Bruce Borkovich to come in and tell you the stories of doing all that kind of thing.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
there's somebody filed a bill in the legislature to make the baiting, ban fine $1.
Yeah.
It hasn't gained any traction yet.
Yeah. So anyway, I mean, we hope you have a nice, safe hunt coming up on Friday and beyond for the next few days to the end of November or so. But anyway, good advice as always. And if you have any question or you need to talk to somebody in case you got nabbed doing something like this, good place to go. Steve Lobert right there in downtown Big Rapids, 796-7609, and he'll give you the good advice. So
Yeah, stay safe out there.
sounds good. All right, and have fun. I mean, that's the biggest thing. So, and I think we're gonna have some good weather for it. Unlike these really raw, rainy, not snow, but just rain that we have the last few years. No, it's just nasty. So, Steve, thanks again, and we will talk to you again next Wednesday morning right here on Your Legal Life on B1039.
Sounds good.
10 minutes before 9 o'clock, time to get a check of the forecast, and here comes Morris.
I'm local first meteorologist Morris Langworthy. Here's your B1039 forecast for your Wednesday.